My mom had an affair 18 years ago. I, 18M, am the product of it. My dad just informed me of all of this and told me he will not pay for my college, while my siblings got their college experience paid for by our dad. Pretty much the title. I have no idea how to process all of this, and I am completely unprepared for what lies ahead. Both my older brother and sister went to the same college. My brother graduated 2 years ago. My sister is set to graduate in 2 years. Both of them had their college paid for by our dad. Dad paid for all of their college expenses, including rent, food, their cars, pocket money, you name it. My brother has a job now, his own place, lives together with his fiancée, and has his life together. My sister already had a good-paying job, and my dad still pays for almost everything for her. I got accepted into the same college, which was always the plan, and I was looking forward to talking with my parents about the next steps, and ask them to help me the same way they did for my siblings. I always assumed they had money put aside for my college the way they had for my siblings. Instead, I was met with a story about my mom's cheating, how I am the result of her cheating, and how my dad is not willing to support me anymore moving forward. Dad told me that mom had 18 years to let me know and prepare me for the future, but obviously she never did. He said it was never his place to say anything since I am not his son and didn't want to interfere with mom's parenting. Apparently, my grandparents know I am not my dad's biological son, but they haven't bothered to tell me anything either. My siblings had no idea, and they are as surprised as I am because there was never a hint of anything being off. I might be naive, but I always thought I had a great relationship with my dad. We go see sports together, we go fishing together, he tutored me when I had difficulties with math. Dad is an engineer. He taught me to drive. I never got a hint that he had resentment towards me. I mean, he gave me my name and has explained what my name means, and he was very proud of it. It's a story he tells me from time to time. He likes to talk about stuff like that about me. My mom has never said a word about anything, and apparently she was supposed to have the talk with me, but she never did. I feel abandoned and unprepared for what lies ahead. I'm not even sure I will be able to go to college anymore. I always assumed my parents will pay for it. I never had a job, and I'm not sure what job I can even get to support me through college. I have no idea how to apply for loans. All my mom has done is cry and apologize, but nothing of substance. She has no idea how to help me. I don't even know if I am welcomed home anymore. It's all up in the air. I feel shame leaving my room, and if I will be asked to move out, I don't know where to go. I don't have any savings, maybe $400 put together. I am angry at my mom. I am confused about where I stand with my dad. There's a man out there who is my father that never wanted to have anything to do with me. I feel rejected, and I have no idea what to do to fix this situation. Anyone have any idea what to do here? Do I apologize to my dad? What do I say to him? I don't know. I've been stuck in my room these past few days, reading and browsing Reddit. I have no idea what to do. Edit. Comments are coming in faster than I can reply, but I am making a list with all the advice about financial aid, health insurance, getting my own phone plan, etc. Things I didn't even think about before. Thank you, everyone. I will try to answer as much as I can, but there's more comments than I can handle. Update. Sorry to disappear. Nothing bad happened to me. I was able to talk with my mom yesterday, but I chickened out halfway through what I had to say. The good news is that I am not being kicked out or disowned. Thank you all for your support. Everyone, I will follow through and call financial aid at my college in a few hours and take it from there. My grandpa had a stroke a week ago, and my dad is helping my grandma with setting up a live-in nurse, so he wasn't around yesterday. I will let you know how I manage. Thank you again. Update 2. Sorry for not updating. My grandpa passed away yesterday morning. Nothing happened to me, but my situation is a secondary concern right now. Regardless, I think I will be alright, thanks to your amazing support and help. My sister is aware of everything and told me not to worry. She has my back and I have her support. I promise to update when and if there are any significant changes. Right now, I need to support my grandma. Thank you again to everyone. Update 3. Hey guys, an update has already been posted. Please don't message me so angrily anymore. Update 4. The reaction to my original post put an uncomfortable amount of pressure on me to write this update. I'm not sure if it's what you want to hear, but things are more or less back to a normal state, if you consider other events. Unfortunately, my grandpa died at the beginning of this week, and I'm still processing it. I did manage to talk with both my mom and dad, and I know where I now stand in relation with them, as well as my siblings. I'm not sure I would have had the courage to say what I had to say if not for the amount of help and advice in the comments. I think it is safe to say both my parents love me, and what happened 2 weeks ago was an overreaction to a fight between my parents. It makes me uncomfortable knowing I am not aware of my own environment, but a stranger in the comments can tell me what's happening in my life with only a few lines of text from my side. A lot of comments were spot on about what is happening in my life. I have so far went through 40%, I estimate, of the comments, but I have given up. There are too many for me to keep up with. The conclusion is that I am definitely going to college. It will be the college I have always wanted to go to, and I will have the same experience as my siblings. The money to pay for all of this already exists. My family is not going bankrupt as suggested. My dad just had a mental breakup with all the issues around my grandpa and his fight with my mom. And even if my dad would have went through with his decision, my grandma let me know my grandpa left me and my siblings a sum of money that we will split between the three of us. But it is enough to put me through college. What started the entire scandal was poor timing on my part. My parents just had a fight, and then I showed up and said, "Hey, pay for my college." My parents were talking about us, their children, and mom said something to the lines of, "To think you wanted to split up when I came back pregnant," or something like that. I was not there. This is what she told me. I guess dad was speaking about how proud he was of his children, and my mom wanted to express her gratitude for dad raising me as his own, and dad took it as the affair was the best decision I ever made, or something like that. And their fight escalated from there, and mom told dad something like, "What makes you think any of them are yours?" Yeah, it went downhill from there fast. Shortly after that, my dumb face showed up, and here I am. Mom and dad have since made up. Mom is still a mess. Dad is not handling my grandpa's passing too well either. I did talk with my siblings, and my sister raised a storm and wrote it here while blasting my parents on the phone. My brother was calmer, but made his feelings known in no uncertain terms as well once he got back home. My grandpa passing away sort of kept spirits calm, I guess, and shifted the focus to dealing with that. Reading the comments was a mind-opening experience. I felt unprepared for the world out there. Many have asked how I have no idea how to apply for loans or grants. Well, in my defense, when you go year after year after year knowing you have nothing to worry about, that your college is as good as paid for already, you don't really have to worry about anything else. Of course, I know there are loans and other things students have to be aware of, but it didn't apply to me. I went from, "I'm going to college, can't wait," to, "You're not my son and I will not pay for your college," in less than 24 hours. Others have been prepared for this. At the very least, they knew they had to get a loan, or get a job, look for a place to live, and so on. For me, it was a sudden change in reality. Going through the comments, I was able to put a list together with various tips and tricks, what jobs are available for students, how to find a place to live, how to get a credit card, a bank account, a cell phone plan, and so on. Really good stuff that I think even after the return to normal will help me. My parents have been called more names than they go by, and that was uncomfortable to read, and I haven't read all the comments. I can't even imagine what else lies in the comments waiting. Dad is very sorry, apologetic about his reaction and behavior. I understand his reaction, but I still feel hurt by it. I understand he was not in the best place of mind, but I can't control my feelings either. We will be alright though, and this hasn't irreparably damaged our relationship. Mom hasn't handled everything that well, but she's coming around and she answered some questions for me. When mom had an affair years ago and got pregnant with me, my parents started for a divorce. Mom moved in with the man that she had the affair with, but after a few months, that guy decided he wants nothing to do with it. He kicked my mom out, and she had nowhere to go, so my grandparents took her in, because she was still the mother of their nephew's grandkids. I'm getting a lot of heat for this mistake, but no, in my family's culture, grandparents call their grandkids nephews as well. So, mom and dad got back together, and after a lot of work, dad took me as his own, and that's my life since then. The man who is my natural father is not in the picture anymore. Dad didn't really know who he is, and mom hasn't heard or seen him ever since. He was fully aware that mom was pregnant with his child. I guess he had more important things to do. But it doesn't sound like he was about to cure world hunger. She met him in a bar, not a fundraiser. And I do not feel a need to know any more about who he is. I thought about the matter the last 2 weeks, since I've been aware of everything, and haven't really felt a desire to know who he is, where he is, if he's still alive, if I have other siblings out there, none of it. I was suggested to go and buy a DNA kit from 23andMe. Maybe I can find him that way, but I think I will avoid doing this specifically so I don't find him or he finds me. As far as I care, I have a mom and dad and a brother and a sister, and that's my family. Moving forward, I do plan on getting a job and becoming more independent, but not in an attempt to distance myself from my family, but to feel like I would not be lost in the world if my family suddenly disappears. My mom admits I have been babied way more than my siblings, and that they should have prepared me for what's coming next. I did learn where I stand with my family, and it's safe to say that I am loved, and I have options. I thought I am isolated, but my world is wider than I thought. Grandparents, siblings, my aunt, my cousins all have my back. I think my parents are human, and they make mistakes. And even though this was not their greatest moment, I think my parents are human, and they make mistakes. And even though this was not their greatest moment, I think I will look at everything as nothing more than a weak moment in an otherwise wonderful relationship. Thank you. I don't really have anything. Seems like a good ending. Seems like everything worked out. They recognized their mistakes. He doesn't want to talk to the real dad, blah, blah, blah. Everyone's happy, and he's going to college. And thank goodness it's getting paid for, because y'all know that stuff is expensive. Next story. Story number 2. OP's wife left him, so he couldn't leave her first. I met my wife, I'll call her Anna, during our first year of university. We dated through university and got married right after graduation. Things were happy for about a while, until Anna discovered a lump in her right breast. I encouraged her to have it checked out, and she was reluctant to do so, but ultimately did because breast cancer runs in her family. And sure enough, that's what she had. The good news, if it can be considered good news, was that the breast cancer she had was extremely treatable with chemo and radiation. Based on her family history, her doctor also recommended a double mastectomy for her. This put Anna in a really dark place. I suggested she go to therapy, but she outright refused and said she never wanted to hear me suggest that again. So, I did my best to be encouraging and supportive of her. I took time off work to be at every appointment with her. I took on 100% of the household chores, both inside and out. I did all of the shopping. I drove Anna everywhere she wanted to go. I planned out special dates for us. I gave her an hour-long foot massage every night. I literally did whatever I could. About 6 weeks into her treatment, Anna brought up the idea of going to stay with her sister for a week. This honestly relieved me, as I was burning the candle at both ends trying to accomplish everything, and I thought some time apart would help us both. 2 nights into her stay with Sarah, Anna called me and said she wanted a divorce. She said that she had read a lot about men who abandon their wives when their wives get sick, and that she was determined to leave me before I could leave her. And I cannot put into words how much this crushed me. I loved my wife. She was everything to me. I begged her to reconsider. I told her I had never thought of leaving her, not even once. I asked her again to go to therapy, but she refused again. I asked her to go to couples therapy with me. She wouldn't. I asked her what could I do to convince her that I wanted to stay. She said there was nothing. I am a man, and therefore I would leave. End of story. It took about a year because of where we live, thanks COVID, but eventually everything was finalized. I ended up selling the house and splitting the proceeds between me and my now ex-wife. I did not want to stay in that town anymore. So I put in a transfer request at my job and ended up moving to a town about 2 hours away. For the past couple of years, I have been focusing on myself more. I got a dog. I've been on a few dates, but nothing serious. I picked up hiking as a hobby and started gardening. Out of the blue, Anna called me 3 weeks ago. She said that she had been in town on a trip with friends and saw me, and all of her old feelings rushed back. She said she was sick and out of her mind at the time, and that I couldn't hold her words or her actions against her. She said she still loved me, that she always had, and that she regretted leaving me. She begged me to give her another chance. And now I'm so confused. If I'm being honest, I still love Anna, but I'm no longer in love with her. She broke my heart. I was devastated when she ended things. It took me a long time to get my head on right. But I also know she was in a really bad place because of the cancer. Do I owe it to her and what we had to hear her out? I'm scared that if we reconnect, I'll always feel like she'll have one foot out the door. But maybe that's unfair? I don't know what to do. Should I give her another chance like she once? And now here is a relevant comment that pretty much sums this all up. I never recommended couples getting back together unless the issues that drove them apart are fixed. Cancer was not the problem. Lack of communication, trust, and a willingness to compromise was on her end. She made unilateral decisions without caring about how it affected you. She refused therapy. The way you're writing this, it's still all about what she wants, which sounds like the dynamic that destroyed your marriage. So, what changed? Personally, I wouldn't do it. But if you want to open the door, you need to start with brutally honest couples therapy. And her active and honest participation is non-negotiable and a deal breaker otherwise. Having the therapy to hash out and bury the past and see if dating is even eventually possible. You guys need to start from scratch. And it's okay if you try it and you can't move on like she expects you to. She hurt you, regardless of her motivations. Sometimes you can't undo things. First update. Firstly, I'd like to say thank you to everyone who left comments on my original post. I now know what people mean when they say rip my inbox. I posted that and went to bed never expecting it would blow up so much. By the time I woke up, the post was locked, not sure why, so I couldn't respond to any comments. But I read as many as I could and tried to take everything into consideration. Many of you suggested I reach out to my ex-wife Anna for an in-person conversation. The overwhelming consensus was that meeting her in person would tell me all I needed to know. And you were right. That seemed reasonable to me. I texted her and she jumped at the chance to meet, and we did so yesterday after I was done with work. I chose to ask her to meet at a local coffee shop. Maybe it sounds bad, but I didn't want to meet her at my house or anywhere private just in case. Anyway, Anna was already there when I got there. She got up and hugged me. I let her, but I didn't hug her back. Then we sat down. I asked her to remain quiet while I talked, and then I told her everything. I'm gonna sum it up here because honestly, I don't remember everything I said. I think I talked for like 10 minutes solid while she just sat there and teared up. But I told her things like how much she devastated me. I told her that I would have stuck with her through thick and thin no matter what. I told her that I loved her and that hadn't changed after her diagnosis or treatment plan. I told her that I was broken after she initiated the divorce. I told her how hard it was for me to pull myself back together. A lot of you pointed out that if Anna and I got back together, I should be worried about what she would do the next time she got sick, or if I got sick. And you were right. So I told her that too, and she got mad and interrupted me at this point. She said she wasn't thinking straight, but now she was. I took the chance to ask her if she'd been to therapy. She told me she had not, and that she had no plans to, and that she didn't need it. I have to admit, that crushed me a little. I asked her why. Just why? It's the one question I've really wrestled with over the months. And she said that she'd gone looking for support groups and found a lot of women who had stories about their partners leaving. She even mentioned Reddit, funnily enough. She said she talked it through with her sister, Sarah. Anna said that Sarah, to her credit, had tried to dissuade her from divorcing me. But that, between social media and some of Anna's friends, Anna felt like she had to go through with it to be seen as a strong woman. That is word for word what she said to me. I don't exactly remember anything else, but I will never forget that. She broke my heart and threw away our relationship because somehow in her mind that translated to being strong. She then started trying to tell me we could get back together again. But at this point, I just told her flat out that wasn't happening. What it comes down to for me is that I just can't trust her. I would always be worrying about the same thing happening to me. She cried a lot and tried convincing me for a little while. When I got up to leave, she threw her iced coffee in my face and stormed out. So yeah, we're definitely not getting back together. I have the closure I always wanted. I wish it felt better. I've been dwelling on it for the past day and a half. I keep wondering if there's something I could have done better, some way I could have saved our relationship, but I know there's not. I've blocked her number, and I kind of hope I never hear from her again. So, in this day and age, we hear all the time about toxic masculinity and all the flavors it has to offer. But after hearing Anna's reasonings about not going to therapy, I think we need to indulge toxic femininity a bit, because it sounds like this is one of those flavors. I understand she was going through a difficult time, I understand she had cancer, but it seems like she talked to other toxic, terrible people, and then they gave her toxic, terrible thoughts to Anna. Oh, I don't need to go to therapy because I talked about it with some friends and my sister, and I need to be seen as strong, so I need to leave my husband? Excuse me? What? This man said, no, babe, I won't leave you. Oh, you're gonna leave me because you're a man. What? Excuse me? No, you do not deserve this man. And as a matter of fact, I think I am going to go date him. Bye. Thanks for watching.